All right. With the International Improvers Chess class. We're looking at sparring scenarios. Here's how you set it up on Lead Chess. So I went to board editor and then I just moved the pieces around that. So we're looking at what should be a draw, theoretical draw, right? 3 against 4, rook and pawn endgame. The king and pawn should be winning, but with the rook and pawn should be a draw. So we're going to set this up in spar. You could spar against a computer or a sparring partner. Okay. So what you do is once you have the position set up, okay, I did white to play since white's down the pawn. So white wants to draw, black wants to win. That's the so a draw is like a victory for white. Okay. So now we go to actually you can just do continue from here. So what I'm gonna do, Malcolm, you're gonna set it up, right?
Yeah, I'm setting
Oh,
the
you're doing it now?
position up right now.
Oh, okay. Because I could have sent you the FEN or the URL will take you to this position, but you already got it.
Uh, uh, yes, I'm like, yeah, my screen looks exactly like yours right now.
Okay, cool. So all you if I had sent see, I could have taken it and sent you the URL, then you just have the same thing. You already did it. And then we just
Mhm.
do continue from here. Play with yeah, again, you could train against a computer. I would recommend progressively higher levels, like, oh, I could easily be on level 2 or 3 or whatever. Then you try level 4. Can I get it at 5? You could see what you did wrong if you lose it like level 6 or whatever. Okay, so you have this position, right? From position. And then let's do like, okay, why don't you guys do 10-10? That's a good that's a good one to start with. And then you would say, okay, do random color. So you would do this. And then you could even do a QR code, of course. But then you just click on clipboard, copy it. You could send it in the chat. Or in this case, I would just send it to John because I have his username right here. Okay, there's just some of my students and stuff, right? So people I play with commonly. So you can just go ahead. You're going to send him the Leechess link or J Barbs. Yeah, just challenge him here, or you can type it in. Just do J Barbs it. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. You guys can let me know once you have it set.
All right, let me.
Then I'll just go ahead and share screen on yours when you have it. So J Barbs. Oh crap! Sorry. I just
Yeah,
challenged you. No, don't do that one. Wait, hold on. Don't click on that. Okay, I didn't want to
yeah,
challenge.
John,
I
I
was just
just
trying to show you.
I sent the request, John.
Okay, let me see if I can find it. Okay, right here.
Do you want me to share the screen, David?
It's up to you. Yeah, sure. Why not? So we can see what you're looking at.
Oh,
Oh, by the way, we can check it out later. I see that we have the WR Chess Masters Cup 2024 with some.
okay, I got it.
We can check that out later on.
Okay, so let me.
What time does the next round of the U.S. Championship start?
Yeah, I haven't been following it. I need to follow it.
I,
We should do a video on it. We should have looked at
I,
it here.
I believe it starts at 3 o'clock. Last I checked on chess.com, it was
Oh,
supposed to
okay. So
2 hours, like 2.5 hours from then.
they can just sleep in, prepare for their opponent each day. There might even be break days. I'm not sure, but they have plenty of time. That's like European leisure format, right? Um,
So, so in this position, this is supposed to be a draw, you say, right?
yeah.
In
Which side do
theory.
you have?
Okay, I'm
You
white.
share. I'm going back. Okay, here we are. So shameless king must defend the honor of his king. Okay, so try to figure out a good draw position to aim for. Yeah, I'll give you a hint. There is a good pawn move that will slow your opponent's advances down while staying
And
solid. While staying solid, like I mentioned in the email, you want to remain solid, give them as little as possible, restrain your opponent, in general, maximize your forces, activate your king. So that's the thing. Like, even if you don't know the theory on this, you can kind of use those rules of thumb, general principles. And then for John, yeah, like I said, maximize your pieces, figure out, of course, how you make a pass pawn, or when you do so, you got to be ready. There's not just gonna be blockaded. Yeah, you just try to invade and use that extra pawn to your advantage. Okay, that's good. So you slow him down. We'll see where it goes. So you're thinking of your best approach, John, how to make some
Mhm.
progress here.
Yeah.
Okay. Let us know how you're, once you think of it, let us know how you're strategizing here.
At first, I was thinking of moving the rook to, I mean, moving the pawn to c5. Um, or maybe just moving it to c6.
Yeah, what would be the difference structurally? Or what would be your aim with C5, for example?
So c5 would stop him from moving forward anymore. But then if he moves to, what is it, b4, then it would be,
Well, you got to really think about, I encourage you to think about whether either of those is really an issue for you. First of all, do you care if you go C5? Secondly, do you care if you go C5 and he goes B4? Just think about that. You go C5, he goes B4. Are you really worried about that if he does it immediately?
okay, so if I move to c5, and he moved to c4, no, everything would be okay so far.
So let's compare before you jump on it though. Before you jump on that move, let's compare that to, oh, I don't know. You have other moves too. Let's jot down. I'll jot down a few candidate moves actually. Yeah, you can make it. This is an important moment because this is gonna, this is gonna dictate the rest of the play here for you. If it's committal, like C5 is clearly a committal move, right? Lock it up. That's very committal. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do CMs for candidate moves. So we got C5, C6. What was another one? Did you say anything else? Any other? I mean, you gotta look at your pieces. Pawn moves, pieces. Just to compare and contrast effectively. Then you kind of know what to do after that. Then it could be smooth sailing from there. What do you think about pieces? Which ones? How can you activate or utilize your king or rook just as a comparison?
Yeah. Well, if I moved my rook out and thought about attacking the king, he could easily just trade off.
Do you care if he? Do you mind if he trades rooks? Is that good for you or not? Think about
If we
what you
trade,
prefer.
I think it would be good because I have the 4 pawns.
Yes. No. Do you prefer? This is important. Again, it's general rules of thumb, right? Rules of thumb. Do you prefer king and rook ending when there's 4 against 3, or do you prefer just king and pawn, or rook and pawn ending, or king and pawn ending? Which do you prefer with 4 against 3?
King and pawn.
Yeah, that should be a win because you have that extra pawn. You've got tempos. You can wrap around their pawns, use your pawns to gain space and control squares that they can't control. Can't control those counterpart squares because of your extra pawn. Definitely got those extra tempos with your additional pawn. So yeah, so if he does trade, that's fine. If he wants to go up and block you, that's fine. So rook activation or king activation or c6 or c5, or I guess your h pawn or your a pawn. So you have those are your moves. Yeah, you got a few options. So what does it give me a rook move to think about then to add for your candidate moves? Not candidate master, candidate moves.
They'd probably move to the F file.
Okay. Yeah, probably interchangeable, right? Something over there.
So
Usually I just stay far away. If I'm gonna swing, usually I just stay far away, right? It's like ladder mate, right? Just get away from him and check from a distance, right? That kind of thing. So rook f8. Any king moves to think about?
well, then I have the A pawn. If I moved up to A5.
Okay, a5 and one more move. Give us one more. That's a lot of candidate moves, but just to start.
Oh yeah.
It's more so your approach that's going to matter more. The setup you want to aim for, and then you rubber meets the road, and you figure out what he does, how you meet him. What else is there? Did you go for something?
I said the A pawn.
She's the a5 and maybe a king move. Just
Yeah.
give one king move.
So yeah,
King, where would the king go?
Yes, I think the first move will be, I'm gonna move my king to C6.
No, I'm not saying that's the move. I'm just saying, just look at it, right? You just have to look at the king too. You can do it if you want, but I'm saying you have all these now you have a reasonable number of moves, almost all your moves, right? Because
Yeah,
you got the pawn, you got 3 pawn moves, you've got a rook move, and you've got a king move. So I'm just saying, now you have plenty to weigh out, and then you start looking at now you start looking at each one and kind of see if it could fit into a grander scheme as part of a plan. What do you guys think? I mean,
yeah,
so which one of those
yeah,
are you leaning toward? But again, should be part. So for example, like you were originally looking at C5, that's a committal move. So if you're going to do it, it's not just the move itself. Are you blocking a C pawn? That's not, like I said, that you don't have to worry about him going there. He can't go there, just lose it, right? And be down 2 pawns. Probably don't have to worry about that anytime soon. So it's like it's very committal, right? And you need to commit. So keep your flexibility. I would recommend. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but just general rules of thumb, and then you figure it out from there.
yeah.
But that's a committal move. Like a rook move is not committal. It's just it's just activating your rook.
Yeah.
C6 is less committal. King C6 is less committal, but gets in the way of your pawn. So you just but figure out, is there one of those, do one of those moves like fit into a grander plan, or just
Yeah.
improve? It should just overall definitely improve your position. So think about which one does that, and then I'll let you go from there.
Yeah, so I think I'd forget about that king move. I can't really.
It can
think
happen
about
whenever you want.
Yeah, so I would
So it'd be
probably
like,
move the rook. I think I would move the
exactly.
rook.
I mean, these are better than pawns, right? Unless you need to like fix something in place, but like I said, you don't need to. So
Yeah.
yeah, the rook belongs in the game. He's not going to go anywhere from C8, so he needs
Yeah.
to get in, and then you go from there.
All right, so here we go.
And then your timers will start. So you're going for you eliminate the other ones, and you have chosen that move. Okay, I'll get rid of all that. And now, Malcolm, for you, it's like, what's your setup?
Right now, like the move I'm just thinking the most about is rook C2, just to prevent a check.
Yeah, because he wants to check you, and you don't want to block, so you preempt that.
And
Yeah.
also another reason I want my rook is I'd rather have my rook in front of the king, so I can after in the future I can move my rook throughout this row, so I can like eventually I like to be able to bring my rook into the become aggressive at some point, but I can't do it right away because of that check.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
do this
First, a
first,
little bit of defense first, and
and
then that fits into, like, we'll get into that later. Just remind me that gets into which pawn you move.
another
So like if you move your other pawn, you don't even need to worry about it, right? So we'll get into that later.
and
Okay, but yeah. Given that you have moved your C pawn, it's like, yeah, I don't need that. I got to worry about my A pawn once he comes in. The rook is just good, right? And you don't want to end up on A3 with your king. You don't want to go back with your king and get stuck on the first rank. So your move is the most natural. Yeah, you just get your rook up, and then you guys go. So you guys have both made a rook move if you want, and then you go from there.
okay, I'm gonna do this just to
Just try to
save my pawn.
lock it down.
Yeah, and save my pawn structure because this could be a potential really annoying move.
So yeah, that's common to play A4. Yeah. Just a question of what you do with all your pawns. What's the formation? So now just like I said, C5 is committal because it locks. You've committed to it. We'll talk about it more later. Just to touch on it so we remember. You're fixed now, right? So we'll talk about when to fix it. I mean, fixed it, like locked in place, right? So it's a decision. It's committal. So as long as you feel like you can lock it down, be like, all right, I tempt you to trade pawns, right? I dare you to trade pawns. Let's see what happens. That's a good place for your rook. I mean, figure you want to activate it as much as possible, so that's the place to be. Either there or maybe the third rank or the fifth rank again. Wait, I'm hearing like captured. Did you make a move or no?
Yeah, I moved my
Oh,
king
he,
to a C6.
Okay. Oh, it's just a move. Okay. For me, it does that when I take it for captures usually.
takes.
You're kind of looks like you're kind of thinking of like moving your pieces. I call like moving to the third story and moving up to
Yeah,
the floor, maybe. Just lock everything in there.
that's wrong. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm
And of course, you're
thinking.
looking at, of course, John's may not, yeah. If John wants to do something, of course, he can always bring his king in or push his pawn. And then the question becomes, do you want to move that pawn, right? Do either of you want to initiate pawn trades? That's where it's, you got to make that intuitive decision. I mean, sometimes theory will indicate, okay, theory will indicate how much do you want to trade. But we can't always know all the theory, right? We try to learn it all, but you will end up in scenarios we don't know. That's the idea here. Practical play. You know as much theory as you can before entering the game, and here you are. You just fall into this position and you got to make the most of it.
Did you move?
Not yet.
Oh, I heard
Not
a
yet.
sound. Okay.
So much.
There you go.
I'm just go for this.
And that's the kind of move that's not committal, which is fine because if you have black here, you up a pawn, you're in no rush at all, right? You have one either active counterplay with white or two sit and wait, right? That's one way you can, even though it seems passive, you don't usually want to, the advice is usually don't do passive defense. But in a rook and pawn ending, if you can, sometimes you just sit there and you're like, okay, prove it, make progress, right? Show me progress. But point is that you try to make progress, but you're in no rush to do so as long as you do it within 50 moves after the last pawn move for capture. So yeah, just improving your king, you're not committing to anything. That's got to be fine. It's got to be a good move, and you'll see where it goes. Just a little commentary on it. Not telling what to do. Saying it's flexible.
Good move.
Yeah, it's just pure defense. I mean, you probably don't want that king coming in, right? Yeah, got to boot him out of there. Boot him out of there before he gets in. So far you've established kind of a fortress, right? Can you maintain it? It's not easy to get in, for sure. But I don't know. I don't know whether it's possible or not. It's kind of hard to tell.
Ah, it doesn't work. Ah, it doesn't work. If I
Oh, so he did make progress ultimately. Okay, what's your only you only got, I mean, you only got one attempt. You only got one move here to try, but he certainly made progress. The only other way would be like c6 or something, right?
mm,
What do you have to do? I mean, based on what he wants, what is your pretty much only defensive move?
like first didn't think of this. Actually, no, I can still
Yeah,
I
you
can still
have
do
to, because
this.
otherwise you just eat your b pawn and everything falls. At
Okay,
least now he's not getting your b pawn just yet. See, it's not over yet. Actually, it looks bad, but he's still not winning your pawn yet. So, yeah, it's not over. I mean, it depends how useful the king will be there, because currently he can't get out. It depends how useful it'll be on a3. It's hard to judge this.
Now it's I guess hard to do the next move.
Now it's just a matter of making, again, practical play. You had 10, you have 10-10. So it's like, pretty normal, like, I don't know, 10-second increment, but pretty normal, like in a real game, you'd be getting down on time. So you just got to manage your time. You got to manage your time as well, like in a real game.
You want me to give more minutes?
Well, I think it's okay, because I want you
That's
guys
fine.
I want you guys to work under pressure as you normally would, right?
Okay.
And that's why you have the 10-second increment, so you can still try to keep it near a minute.
Oh, I forgot to add the increment to this time control.
Oh, it's a 10. Okay. In that case, why don't you add, I don't know, a couple minutes and play it. So once you add a couple minutes, now then play it from there.
Okay. Another one?
What do you think? 2 minutes? Yeah, why don't you that's actually probably equivalent. Well, that's equivalent to playing 12 moves, right?
Okay.
12 moves you'll gain in 2 minutes. Well, you never know. I mean, you might be playing in a rapid event with no increment, right? But what just happened? You come here. Yeah, he's eating the pawns now. So you got to figure out where that went wrong. Yeah, now he's got those pawns. That'll be good for analysis. I must have been the move when the king came in.
I
We'll
think
check. We'll check. You still might have been okay. I don't know. We'll look back. Okay, John, you still got to show your technique. Oh, and Matt said that it's at 2 o'clock. So in about an hour, the championship games start for US Championship.
That's if I read it correctly.
Oh, it's
What do you-
960. It's 960, huh?
No, that's a later
Oh,
time.
right after the. Oh, cool. Right after it. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but it said that the games start at 1 o'clock, but that's St. Louis time, which I think is 1 hour behind us.
Yes, think so. Okay, now it's just make sure you don't give no tricks. I'm trying to finish it cleanly here.
No, should I have done that? Let me see. Will he be able to get out of there? Nope. So kind of goofed. Maybe I'll do this.
Well, I mean, you still have plenty of moves.
Um,
But he's aware of it. That's good. He's aware of
if I do a
the
queen,
tricks.
that'll be a stalemate, right?
Good,
I don't think
good.
there's any tricks.
Well, he sees he sees one stalemate. I can say what it is. No, he sees that one.
So
I mean, you haven't committed to anything yet.
so
But it's the kind of thing where like, oh, you have 5 seconds left on the clock, so you never know. You never know. You have just enough time. Or think you might still draw.
I guess I better do this.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, you just have like pre-move, Malcolm. Because if you want to go for a draw, you just have to not lose on time. Okay. Well, now it's like a bowler game. It's practical. Has this practicality. It's very tricky. You want to, okay, John, why don't you give him like a little bit of time just so you can play it out?
Okay. Oh, hold on.
Oh, yeah, give him a little, yeah, give him, okay. Yeah, like 30 seconds, whatever. Okay.
Oh,
Give him-
okay.
I mean, it's fine. Okay. So just play it out.
Oops.
Well, technically, if you had the 10-second increment, you would have, you would be adding that. You'd be getting that time
Okay, something happened to my board,
for the next one.
so I lost the game. Hold on. How do I close this? Whose turn is it?
It's your turn.
It's your turn.
Okay,
Did
got
it go away?
all right.
You could just send it. You could always send the link to the game, but do you see it on the tabs?
I got it now.
Okay.
So
Or I guess it could be like Nakamura and get like a bunch of knights. You know the game against
if I go
the
here,
game against Ribka, the computer knock. I think two different. I think one time I heard he got bishops, but I've seen the one where he got 6 knights just to troll the computer. Because the computer was messing with him too. It would shuffle. Have you guys heard of this one? So it would shuffle for 50 moves. On the 50th move, it would blunder something. Because he found a glitch. Because didn't want to go for a draw. So it like had an exchange up or something. But then no Nakamura sacked exchanges or something. But it was a locked position. And then he had all these pawns. It's like 200 something moves, I think. I have to check it out. I'll share it with you guys. Okay. The March of the Pawns. Yeah, no, that's good play. You made it certain that you won't get a stalemate. Pretty certain.
this guy's tricky.
Yeah, depending on which move you make, anything can happen. It's pretty much only one good move right now. Right?
Yeah.
Funny.
So I need to get the king out of there. So I guess I have to put him.
Just take your time. Take your time. I want you to find the most. It's one of those positions where you want to just be you have times you want to be as precise as you can. So just take your time on it.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's right here.
It's got a little leeway. It's got a little leeway still.
Yeah.
Well, again, he's just like main thing is he's not going to stalemate. Right? He's making sure do not stalemate.
Didn't he have checkmate?
Oh, okay, that's do it. Yeah, there's no stalemate there. You're gonna get queen. That's a good move.
Am I muted?
Now you're not.
He asked if I had a checkmate, I guess.
Maybe B2, right?
Did it push
B2.
B2? I think it was checkmate.
Yeah. You're making your job a little more difficult, but you're pretty sure you're not going to draw. You're probably not. Well, now you have to just contain the king and try to wrap around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Malcolm, yeah, just go for your. Okay, let's treat it like this is a bullet game. And you just have to go first. You just have to try and get a stalemate. I think John's got this now. You got this, John. Yeah, where can that work? You got to communicate. You got to coordinate those. You got to coordinate together for the focal points, right? Oh, okay. He's just going for it. He's going like mate in 3 or something. Oh, okay. Okay. That works. That actually looks kind of nice. Okay, wait. So where did it go wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's look at when you look at the spike on when you look at the spike in the graph, the analysis board. Where did things go wrong? Matt, are you going to play one next?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, why don't you play whoever wants? I guess play the winner or. Okay.
Good game, Malcolm.
Oh, good game. Good game, John. Let's see.
So I'll tell you the main now you'll know. I didn't want to tell you guys at the beginning. I'll tell you the main way that black or whoever has in this case white would attempt to draw. Okay, let's see. So go back to the beginning. Wait, let me see the graph. The graph should be draw at the beginning. Wait, scroll down. Yeah, it definitely should be a draw at the beginning unless I messed it up. I don't think so. So basically, here's the
Uh,
thing. Forget about that. We go back first. Okay, so go back to move one. So generally, what you should do is play pawn a4, not because the thing is also c4 opened up your second rank, right? Usually they go pawn it because if you move your rook out, they're gonna. I guess the idea is then that if you don't go a4, they probably go b5 and a5 and press. So the idea of this move, if they want to play b5, they're going to start trading down. So white wants pawn trades because if you get all pawn trades, you can get Philidor's position. We just blockade the pawn or start checks or whatever. So because black will not get, really should not get his king in front of a passed pawn. So it's not always great for black to just go ahead and make a passed pawn. So you slow them down with this move. You cover your second rank. Yeah, it's useful to have that coverage. And then if you bring your rook out, when you bring him out to like h1, you can go to h3 and cover your third rank and try to get up to the fourth rank maybe, but just sit around. That's what I did with like I told you with my student the other day. We just hovered between like, no, that's what I think I was trying to hold, or something. I forget what it was, but I just hovered between the second and third rank. So what does the computer say? Does it say a4? I'd imagine it's a4. That's at least the theory I've seen on this. But again, if you don't know the theory, you just kind of figure it out. When did it spike though? Wait, go down. Yeah, see, it's saying it's equal now. Okay, black gets 0.1 because black is the one playing as a human, playing for two results. Yeah, it says rook h1 / a. It doesn't even. Yeah, the second best is a4, but that's like kind of the known thing to do. Because I mean, I suppose it's directed against like fluidity with like b5, a5, squeeze with b4, stuff like that. But I remember seeing like from Karpov game where he plays a4 when you have the three.
Like my main reasoning for c4 was to stop both of these pawn pushes. I didn't want
Right. Because you looked at
d5 to
b5,
happen.
but you also stopped d5. Let's see what the eval is. It might be okay. Let's see what the eval change. It might go down a little bit. It goes down 0.1 or 0.2. It's so it's probably fine. But here's the thing. Okay, just like John, if he had gone c5, he would have. Okay, let's take a look at. John was thinking about c5 at first. Let's say he had done that. Like if he just made a move like in a blitz game, just goes for it. If he had done c5, probably would have been a lot harder for him because, yeah, just go ahead and make it real quick for black to play c5, hypothetically, as a sideline.
Oh.
So if black goes c5 here, then he weakens the d5 square. See, it says dead draw now. And it's saying a4 again or rook. I like the rook h1 now. Yeah, I like rook and rook. Yeah, computer prefers that over a4. I mean, they're both fine. I don't want to play a4 though, really. Because a4, the thing about your game when you play a4, you created rigidity. Now, it might be okay sometimes. I think you were probably fine, but you just like made a mistake and let the king in. I think that was it. Even so, I'm not sure. I don't know. I missed one move that you made where you lost the pawn. I don't see what move that was. Let's go. But I think you were still fine. It's just you want to make your job as easy as possible to minimize human error, knowing that we're humans. Just minimize your chances for error, just if you can lock it in. All right, so you might have been fine though. All right, so c5 is just too rigid, right? Again, if you're trying to win, remember, both sides really, you want fluidity in your pawns because you don't need to commit, right? So I'd rather do c6 than c5, right? Okay, go back one. But if I were to do one, I would do, but no, the rook out is the right way to go. Yeah, the rook needs to come out. So, even the king move it's saying, king could start to go c5. But I think the rook wants to cut in the game. So you want to check him. Interestingly enough, the computer's not even looking at rook c2. I thought it was the best move. Like, why let him go check? Let's see what it has in. Let's see the computer. You can hover over the line on the top right, and it will tell you what it thinks is the best line. So once a4, because funny enough, it wants king a3 anyway. Similar to the game where you were on c3. It wants to just huddle over there and be like, okay, where's your progress? I wouldn't think of doing that, but and then now we get our trades down. I don't know if we want to take again because then you give him the pass d pawn. We don't need to take again. See, he keeps his pawn on c4, right? And again, you can't go up to c5 probably, but just keep an eye on your pawn. How about king c? Yeah, king wants to come to the c file. It's kind of scary looking. Maybe a rook. Yeah, the rook just stays active.
Oh,
so you can see, but you get the idea there, right? That's one way to go. Again, it looks a little tricky to me. Computer will find weird stuff like that. I'd rather go to a3. I would keep it flexible because again, the computer sees 30 moves ahead and knows it's a draw. The human doesn't. Okay, what now?
Did rook c2. Got a5.
So
Definitely.
A4, it says okay. Actually likes your move. I just I don't know, you lock it in, but I was a little worried for you because you're see the thing about the king in to B4. But even so, if you lock down the third rank, the king is not going to make it to B4. Like you had it with the rook covering the third rank and your king on C3. And you did play pawn A4 ultimately, which is generally what you want to do. So computer still gives you a draw.
I feel like at some point I probably had to, instead of like keep my king in this area, I probably had to keep my. It probably would want me to
I don't know.
put my king
Yeah, one
here.
it did say that. I don't I think you were fine. Well, look at the eval down there. The eval changes with king. Oh, you abandoned the file. You abandoned the rank. Then you lose after rook F3 check. King C2. Because that's when he wraps around to A3. If you're on B2, he could even come into B4 because when you check him on B5, actually that would be a mate. You'll see the difference. Okay, play it out. Let's go forward then to see where the critical moment was. So you're still fine. Everything's fine. But basically, this is the sit moment, right? You're in like wait moment. Just sit there. Yeah, King C3 is correct. But that's interesting. I didn't think about that. King A3 is so theoretically, I guess now we know that King A3 is fine. But I mean, if you're gonna choose, why wouldn't you go C3? Oh, because the pocket, but you don't need to leave. That's the thing. You don't really need to leave the third rank. Okay, then what happens? Yeah, he goes back. You can return. I would, if it were me, I'd go back to D3. Like, what about go back one? What about rook D3? I mean, it's like almost. Oh, does that matter? Let's see. I mean, that's my first inclination. It all's fine. It's all fine. They check, you go B2, you move, rook moves, you repeat, you come back to C3. There's no progress. The only way, the thing is, black ultimately does need to play something like C6, right? Ultimately, they have to go like C6, B5 or something, or try to invade on B4, which is not going to happen. You're not going to let that happen. You just keep your king every time he comes up. Your king is on C3 or A3 or even B2. If he comes into B4, you go rook D5 check, rook B5 mate, right? If you're on B2. So you almost had that, but your king was on C2, which was the problem. But let's see how he could have won from there. No, he did. No, he did pull it off from there. I was wondering if you had a defense. I guess not. No, once John got the advantage, he never let go of it. Good job, John. Made one error, I guess. Exploited it well. Okay, that was it. That was it, Malcolm. King B2.
And
Again,
on this
like,
point, I was thinking between these two moves. I guess because they're the only good moves I had.
but
Because I never once considered this one.
okay, let's look at no, but I mean the deal is that he just can't come up. He goes up, you check. He can't go to B4 when you're on B2 because you have a cool mate on B5, rook D5 to B5 mate if he's on B4. So he just has to go back again and nothing happens. He goes back, you go back, you wait. So again, you force him to go C6, D5, trade, and that should be a draw as well. Because you could just keep an eye on the D pawn. You could keep, well, once he gets that isolated pass pawn, so isolated pawn, you can keep wrapping around and checking from the side or usually preferably behind the king. Yeah, that should be fine then. Okay, and you keep your king close enough. That's why I don't even like the idea of king A3, because I want to be close. I mean, you'll come back to C3. I'd prefer you on C3. Whatever you do, do not trade rooks. Because then the king will just come in. You know, that's just a waiting. He's going to come in, and he has the waiting moves too, like C6 or C5. But even without that, the rigidity, even if it's like whatever, even if he had C5 in now, C5, that structure, just moves the pawn to C5 and king goes to like E5, he would wrap in. He'd wrap around you because the pawns control more squares. All right, so then what happens? Or you could play like C5 then D5 and trade or something. But yeah, you don't even need that. So yeah, you missed that one move. It's very interesting, huh? It's interesting. You made a very natural move, actually. Didn't look that bad. And then John didn't let up. So you do the, okay, you check as you would. Makes sense.
Yeah,
So there's just
the
no
king
way.
got.
Is there just no way to hold on there? Well, I thought you were going to go to B5 and just wait there. And then if he checks you, you go up one. And if he checks you again, you go down one. I don't understand. I thought at first you're holding on to your pawn. Why not?
because I couldn't think of a way like
Oh, it's a
say
Zugzwang.
this
It's a
one.
Zugzwang. No,
Yeah.
in this position, you're holding on to it, but you have to leave it. That's why I didn't look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. You
Yeah.
guys see that? It's a
I'm
Zugzwang. Look at the position. And that's what I'm getting. Okay, one, you let his king in. Two, you have rigidity. That's why, again, I'd rather have my pawn on c3 than c4. Because if he's on, again, just to avoid human error, because if you're on c3 now, if he's on c5, he's not coming into b4 to begin with, right? I guess he'd be able to play pawn d5, but you'd have to let him. But then you, again, you'd go like the computer gave the line where like you go after the c, you go like rook h7 or whatever and put pressure on the c pawn or something. But yeah, you don't, one, you don't want that, the king coming in. So it's the rigidity, but the rigidity, pawns are stuck and it gave you the holes on the dark squares. And then you see that's the thing. Then you have the human error of accidentally not going to b2. But the point is you don't want to even put that burden on yourself. You know, I said that to a guy once in a tournament, like some strong high school players. I went over there looking, I'm like, yeah, I would do this one. You just don't have to think about it. He's like, yeah, well, I don't have to. He's like, but this is still correct. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm getting at though, right? It's like, yeah, but it's like, if you know you can go to a theoretical draw, you should just do it. Like the lines, like, for example, let's say you have a rook against a knight. If you can chop off the knight and be in the winning king and pawn endgame, you should, right? If you know it's an easy win in king and pawn endgame, rather than having to deal with the knight hopping around. You're like, oh yeah, it's a win, exchange up maybe, but you know, just make it simple on yourself. Don't let him in or whatever, or trade down the proper way, liquidate the proper way. Okay, so then what happened? But now it was just, yeah, it's just over. That's it. Once you get game over. But John, you had a cool mate, John. Let's see what the easiest way now, John, for you. I think you can probably use a little bit of improvement in finishing technique, right, John? To make your job easier. You want to make a job. You both want to make a job easier as the winning side and as the side trying to draw. So let's look at, John, what you could have done. A couple moves that would have made your job easier.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to play with him by moving the pawns and all that. I just couldn't figure out how to checkmate quicker.
Yeah,
quickly.
Yeah, b4 is fine because you're getting in the way. Yeah, now you should go to b3 now. Yeah, get out of the way of your pawn. Go back one. Yeah, may as well. Like, you're fine. But what I thought was you were moving your two pawns. I thought you were just going to use one pawn as a bait, right? As a decoy pawn, because you can move your a pawn. That's one way to win this.
Yeah,
Don't even get close.
trying that.
Don't even worry about your king being close because you don't have any chances of a stalemate. Okay. No. Go back one. Yeah, that's fine. No, going back one though. You can doing what you did is fine. You take c4.
Yeah.
Okay, you go back. Yeah, you do that. That's fine. You do that move. Just keep pushing your pawn. No, you don't even need that. Like, go back one. Go back. Oops. Go back to where you were when you played. Go back to D. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. You're controlling it for him, right? But what in terms of what John, in terms of what he could do, go back one. I would probably just push the D pawn. That's what happened, right? I think you did that. Not even the B pawn. You could if you want, but you can hang the A pawn and promote the D pawn. That's one way. No, B5 is okay too. That's a choice. It's up to you. But you can still finish. And then from here, you're fine. You don't need to give him the A pawn. You can finish cleanly. Okay, so let's go B5. Okay. And then now D4. See, I would just push the D and A pawns, But you can do either one. But you push the D pawn, he can't get there. He goes over there. Okay, you push your A pawn. You're going to queen one of them. See what I mean?
Okay.
But your king, and you keep your king back, right, John? You don't even need to come up with your king yet. Just get your queen, then you come up and you mate him when you're ready. Okay.
Right.
This is fine. Again, I would play D4 here probably, but you can use the two together. Oh, you did that. Yeah, play D3. Yeah, there you go. There you go. D2. That's it. You did that.
Oh,
wait, pause here. What's wait, can you click off the computer line? Pause here, try to find it. Yeah. What's the easiest win here? This is actually a very nice win right now. Just to make it nice and clean, what's the best win for black or among the best? You don't need to do anything drastic. Nothing drastic. Just maneuver properly.
wait a minute. How about if you move the B pawn to check.
You could, yeah, you could do that. B pawn, then queen, right? Or rook.
Right.
Promote to rook also, because you get
I
him on the
think-
side. That works. Wait, no.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. It's like but I would play king in c3 because it's like a Zug. It's another Zugzwang. King in. You can't promote to a rook or a queen. It's a draw. You go king in. You promote with check now. No draw. See? That works too. And you can just promote with check. It's like mate. It's mate in 2 now. Yeah, whatever you want to do, check. Yeah, you know how to mate from there. Right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's what I thought. That's what I had in mind, and as well as the other line where you play check, king takes a3, then you promote and mate them when they go king a4 and mate that way.
There was another one. I
You can
saw
go to
this one
B3.
right here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
B3.
you made him on the flank now.
Yeah, and
Well,
like
actually,
if
I
I
guess
went
he can go
back,
back to B2.
checkmate.
Yeah, he can go back to B2, but he's wrap around. It's mate in 2 now. Mate in 1 that way. Yeah, mate in 2. Where's the mate in 2?
Like
Yeah,
I guess
king here, you
mate
get your sideways mate, like with the rook or the queen. And if he goes to B2, what's your quickest mate? Yeah, check, anchor it, and then mate, no matter which way it goes, A2 mate. It's pretty cool. So John, you basically just made it again, you guys made it a little hard on yourselves as both
Yeah.
the winning side and the defending side.
Yeah.
So just little things for technique. So you have some more. Yeah, so Malcolm, you pretty much had the draw, but of course, usually what happens in these end games is, okay, the winning side will have, it's like multiple positions that occur, like multiple mini games. So the first one is, all right, let's deal with the position after white plays c4. So black tries to improve the pieces. Okay, they don't make he did make progress from that, and he got in, right? You made a mistake, he'll cat and mouse, basically cat and mouse. So trying to improve the pieces. But okay, now in the next phase, he stopped you there. Now you play c6 and d5, right? You probably do that. You're like, okay, let's make the pass pawn. Okay, you can still stop him, but now you have to prove you can stop that pawn. And then he finally actually advances the pawn. Final phase. Now you have to set up perpetual check. Check, don't make him make progress. Oh, maybe he gets, okay, fine. Then he's like, fine, you stop me there. Okay, I'll promote my pawn, get superior king position, trade off rooks, get superior king positioning. But it's still a draw. You have to prove it, right? So you see, so that's what usually happens. Strong players will usually be like, okay, I know it's a draw, but I'm going to make you prove it from multiple kinds of positions, right? As you get, I mean, each one is boiling down and technically getting closer and closer to the actual draw, but you're basically making them pass a test each time, right? They have to pass a test at each juncture. Does that make sense? Each transformation of structure, or each advance, like, okay, now the king's on b3, don't get mated. Oh, I gotta drop my rook back and hold. A lot of times hold steady. It's either holds 2 ways. Okay, main way obviously is counterplay. Check. Rook and pawn endgame, that's the bread and butter of defending. Just check, right? You set up your checks, and whenever they come forward, you check them away. That's Philidor's defense. You drop, you make them advance the pawn, so it exposes the king to the 6th rank or 3rd rank. Then you go back before they have time to mate you, and then go check from behind, because they can't go in front in the Philidors because the pawn's on the 6th or 3rd, and your king's behind it, right? But if the king gets in front of it, okay, now they block the checks and they could win it in Lucena's position. Anyway, yeah, so we're gonna do one more. Let's do, who's gonna play? It's Matt versus John, I guess. Whoever wants to do among you two. Since John had that one, you could do it if you want, unless you guys want to do rock, paper, scissors or something.
No, I'll watch. They can play if
Okay.
Malcolm wants.
Okay. So Malcolm, you want to do it? But the M names, Malcolm and Matt.
Yeah, sure, I can do
You
it.
got time? You got time? I know you guys can play pretty quickly too, I think. Matt, you like quick chess?
No comment. But are we playing the same position?
Okay, why don't we flip so you don't have to do this? Unless you want to, Malcolm. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Be like, look, let me prove that I can hold it. Because you don't want to go away from this being like, oh, I don't know, I'm scared of that position now. I have a bad memory of losing it in the training class. So I don't know. If you want, you can try to prove that you can hold it. It's up to you.
I'll try. I like to try to prove I can hold it again.
Yeah, I think it's good because you want to finish the job. It's good for your self-confidence, because I feel like if like you'll have a bad memory in your mind of like losing that position and never winning it, right? So maybe it's like a thing. It's just a psychological. Oh, wait, do the increment though. How about 10-5 or something? Because otherwise you have to keep adding time, like just to keep the game going. So if there's still play left. So why don't you do 10-5 or 10-10?
Okay, let me
I'll be right back. I'll be right back while you guys set it up. And Matt, you both know how to do that now, where you go to the board editor, you set up the position you want, then there's a thing that says, there it is. Yeah, it says continue from here. You can alter it however you want, just as long as the kings are nearby and you have I would do it like without things being too advanced so that the person with the extra pawn has to figure things out, right? And then just make it, yeah, click white then. So Malcolm, click white so it won't do random.
I
Okay.
can do that. I think it's just
Pawn on the back, new variant, pawn on the back rank, right? I wonder if you can do that, probably. Oh yeah, you would do that in horde chess where you have like 4 rows of pawns. It's pretty fun. I'll be right back.
going against just sent you a challenge.
Okay, I accepted.
Awesome. For that.
All right. So this looks pretty okay. So far, pretty similar. Take your time. Yeah, if you make a committal move, take your time on it. Anytime, any pawn move, you should take your time on. I'm not saying it's bad, but just you just look at the prospect. Going for it. Okay.
Oh, we had a better move.
Yeah, that would have that would have defeated the purpose of the exercise because it would be, if you see what I'm talking about, Matt, what we're talking about, then it's been like, okay, you have that, but then it's almost like take it back, right? You saw it, Matt. It's almost like it's amazing that that can actually happen so quickly that you get the pawn. I don't know if that happened last. No, because you played C. That's why you don't. Oh, that's the reason for C4. Now you see it because you want to establish your rook there sometimes, right? Well, well, they would play D5 to stop rook C4 maybe, but as you can see, this might go both ways here.
Fuck.
Okay. Well, how about this? You guys both blundered a pawn. Okay, but that's not
Ah,
that's not the. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Let's go back for a second.
oh,
Then it's over. Yeah.
yeah.
Then it's over. Okay. Go back one. All right. Let's do one take back. So you guys would have both like messed it up. One move. Okay. No more. Be careful.
Wait, I'll propose a take
Now
back.
we're over the blunders. Okay. Wait. Are we?
Wait,
Oh, right before this move. So you both missed a pawn. Watch out for your.
I already did the take back, I think.
One more. Oh, that took you
I
back.
think it's one more before
Oh, to make it his.
A3.
Well, why don't you? Oh, then you accept his, and then now it's your move. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you
I
got
did
just
that
let's pretend like that
really
didn't happen.
quickly.
Okay. If it does happen, you're okay. That'll mess up the point. The point is, black is trying to progress, but like not win a pawn yet. But it just shows you that it could flip easily like that if you're nonchalant and you're just like, oh, I mean, natural. Bring your king in the game, and I just lost a pawn. And now theoretically, white would be better if you win the c pawn. I mean, by a bit, but it should still be a draw. 3 against 3 with fractured structure. Okay, so you're already going for what you're familiar with, because the computer said that was okay, I guess, right? Oh, but the difference is you're on B2 now instead of C2. Okay, so you're going with what you're familiar with. You have the computer's stamp of approval, right? Now you have to carry it out. Like I said, you don't even need C4, but I guess you can. Let's see where it goes then. I'll shut up for a bit.
Let's try.
As you can see there, I mean, you have the theoretical ideas, kind of the practical ideas, and then there are landmines. There are definitely landmines you have to watch out for. So that's what I'm talking about. You guys have like current position, stagnant, right? So then now the person with the extra pawn's like, all right, I have to try something else because you tried a bit, you know, shuffle around a bit, see if they do anything. You can repeat the position, well, technically repeat it once. So you have the same position twice, and then you try something new, right? Once you exhaust those options, you're like, all right, I'm not going to get threefold repetition, so I have to advance or do something else. So now you already, that's the thing, like now you've done this before. So you either learned it from a book or you learned it from experience or from what the computer tells you. So you have experience now, Malcolm, right? So you're applying that. Just being, again, that combined with performance of like being cautious and move by move, but you're getting that apparently, according to the computer, that effectively, I guess, a theoretical scenario that the computer came up with, at least, where you hold a draw. But of course, again, we didn't see every scenario. So we'll see what happens once black tries new things. Then you're going to be on your own again when the structure changes. So that's up to you, Matt. Create some complications there. And it has happened. So we'll see. And interestingly, this was like a could have been in John's position, right? So we'll see how that plays out because John almost did this.
So now what?
Yep, so now we got that king and pawn endgame.
Yeah.
Now, it's tricky. Oh, this is actually very tricky. Okay, you're down a pawn. You have the opposition. Can you hold it? Let's see. That's about the best you can hope for as the defender, though. You need that opposition.
Let's make a couple moves.
Yeah, kind of triangulation method. See if you can hold it. But yeah, as I said, king and pawn tends to really favor the side with the pawn up, much more than the rook and pawn. But let's see.
Mm. 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 Over here. Who's here? Hmm. I don't want to do that. Yeah, I think this is gonna go to a draw.
All right, fair result. That was a good defense. Good defense.
It's,
You got to go king d6, Matt. I think. Look, go back one. See what happens if you go king d6. Basically, black needs opposition, right? I think so. Look, so you go king d6. So the point is when white comes up. So try king d6 here. He didn't do that, I think. Then you get the opposition for black, not for white had it previously. Now black has it. Then they're going to get to go to d5. See? What
if
else?
you went but if you went d6, what if I probably would have went
Oh,
this.
wait. Yeah, you go there. Hold on. Let me see.
How does
Oh, wait, hold on. Go back. Go back.
I
you
was
have
still on
king
my
c3 again.
board,
Let me see.
so I'm not sure where you started from.
oh I guess we can I'm on we are
Well, I'm watching you now. He was saying move king d6, but I don't know where
Let
he.
me see. Was there a win? I think there might. I don't know. Maybe not. Okay, well, let me see. Somewhere I thought I
only
saw king d. I thought I saw king d6 working at some point. Let me see. How about here? Whose move is it? No,
If
after
I
this.
move
After
d6
this.
there, he
No,
just
yeah, you're right. Because you keep me. Yeah, you're right.
infiltrate.
Every time he goes king d6, you go king c3.
Right.
Because then king d5 is then I was thinking of d5. That's meant by king d3. So yeah, you're just triangulated, Malcolm. Nice. So wait, was there ever a win or no? Oh, good job. Yeah. So you traded, like generally speaking, though, you don't want to trade rooks, right? Like I said, you have to be sure it's a draw. Wait, how did the rook trade it? Let me see. Did it get on the same file on the D file there?
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was.
think I calculated enough on the trade. I just thought I get the trade and I win, but then it's like,
No, it
yeah,
looked good. It definitely looked good.
he had opposition and I was not.
Well, you did it, Malcolm. Good job.
Let's go.
It was
Yeah,
close.
when
Okay. So you ended up wrapping around. Yeah, that's the thing, Matt. Go back a bit. I think if it were me, I would go before. I wouldn't want to go C5 again, lack of the rigidity. To go back a little bit, because even if you get D5, you trade, then you got 3 against 2. I would go for C6 and D5. Let's see, that's what's recommended. You got to try C6, D5, because then you create a passed pawn. You'll try to create it. You should be able to get a passed pawn there. And, try to, here's the thing. You've played B3. That's the thing about A4, C4. You've played A4, C4, you weaken B3. Now you have the target on B3 combined with a passed pawn running. So you have 2 things to work with for black. That's what I would try, you see? So guys, yeah, I wouldn't remember flexibility. You want to be able to make the pass pawn, okay? That's black's asset, right? The central pawn can easily become a passed pawn, right? So for instance, let's say you want to, I think you can. Maybe white doesn't give you time though. Let's see. Let's look at the computer. No, let's look at the recommended move. Swing to the side. You want those side checks. Don't go. If you go behind, he's going to go like rook back to b5. He's going to get the pass pawn. So let's say you swing to the side like the computer suggests. Go ahead. So try out rook. Which side are we on? Try rook h4.
Yeah.
Just play it here
Rook h4.
Just play it on the board so we can see it big.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Let's say you do that, and then what can black? Yeah, now there are going to be some checks which complicate matters. Yeah, there are going to be checks now. That's the thing. So you see that's your method there. Just do check. Yeah, you can take it, then start checking.
Yeah. Let's see. Here recommends h6. But, I can see why, just because it stops the king from being a protector. But let's see what happens though. Just the natural checks. This can get a little scary.
Yeah, that's the thing though. See, at least again, this is the opportunity for black to really force white to play accurately, right? Because it's uncomfortable for sure. I mean, you got a pass pawn coming, and you got the weak B pawn. But you see, that's why I would probably, I don't know, I would just play A4 and not C4, just like I wouldn't play D5 or C5, because all of those moves create rigidity. Okay.
Even b5 works here. X. This could be a.
Now you have the method of swinging between the D pawn and the A pawn. See rook D6, go rook D6. When the king goes to C5, go try it out. If they go to B4, you check them. If they go here, you go to A5. You see the method A6 now. Now you hit the other pawn. They go back, you hit the other pawn. They check, you just go up. I think. Wait, let's look at the check. Look at the rook check here. What do we do about the rook check? So rook here, king up. Yeah, king D3, so you don't get hit by D4 check. Go D3. They check you again, you just go back. Now the pawn hangs, right? So you can see you just have to shuffle the right way. Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
king D4, you just take the A pawn, you should be fine. Just be a little careful.
That's even a line.
What is this?
I'm shocked the computer wants this, but I guess it sees something like it's still
No, I mean,
draw.
no, I mean, look, there's nothing to do because the pawn's hanging, and if the king goes to B, well, I mean, no, maybe king B5 is the more practical line for black. Let's see what happens if instead of coming to D4, okay, let's say they go to B5, they attack the rook, right?
Because I think
Then rook D6.
it would still be this.
Then the rook defends. Let's say.
Because I think.
So then you don't have to keep swinging back and forth. No, let's say the rook just goes back to defend the D pawn. So, but here's the thing: you have him. It's like stasis now. You go king D3. Where's your progress? Anytime they go to B4, you just check them. If they go A4, you just trade. That's a draw. Yeah, that's it. Well, how about king? Oh wait, hold on. How about king B4? That's what you want. One final attempt. You're going to check them, of course. Defend your pawn with check. They go king a3. Let's say they try king a3, but now you're gonna have rook b5, and you're gonna force them to go a4. You're gonna trade pawns, and then you're gonna easily hold on or hold back or win the d pawn. Yeah, you just cut them off. I would cut off the king by I would go rook b8, cut him off. King comes in, and you'll just win the d pawn because the king can't come over to help. Right? He checks, you go up, and that's a draw. Yeah, and then he has to go back
really
again,
nothing.
and then you go take it. Go take it with
Yeah. Eventually, this will drop.
Just go. No, just go after the pawn right now, because the king's too.
Like this.
Just go take his pawn. Yeah, it's just a draw right now because he can't come over.
Okay.
Yeah, check. You take. Don't get skewered, and you're good. Right. No, just move your whatever. It's just an easy draw. Just don't. It's so annoying. It's annoying watching the title Tuesdays, and you'll see these guys like, okay, one has 15, one has 12 seconds, and they're to rook. They're with they have king and rook, and they're trying to beat the other person. I've seen usually they'll play on. It's like basically they're saying, look, I mean, don't make an error, and look, you have less time than me, so you have to pay the price sometimes. You have to prove it. But I think that's kind of lame. It's just going for that point at all costs. But I think at that point, look, if you're down to, it's almost like king versus king. If you're down to that now, queen and king versus queen and king, I think that's legit to play on because they could fall for some weird mate or like a skewer. Definitely a skewer. Anyway, nice job, guys. So I'm glad you ended up getting the draw, Malcolm. It got down to the wire there because you did get to a king and pawn, which can often lose. But ultimately, the rigidity of black's position helped you, right? So what do you take away from that? Any any lessons or thoughts to finish? What do you guys think? What did you learn?
I guess it gave me like a little guideline when I'm playing in like a pawn down, like an end game where I'm a pawn down, and try not to be too aggressive and try to make waiting moves per se, or like sound waiting moves that will
Once you
limit
lock it down, you have to lock. It's kind of like a fortress technique. Wasn't quite it was sort of a fortress, but once you have it locked down, you got to just sit there sometimes. But the moment that they have to see counterplay, but you say, look, I'm gonna sit here, I'm waiting for you. The moment you create counterplay, I go after you, I start checking you. But it's actually similar to like people who want to be defensive in general. Some players try to win like this. They'll like sit there in like a hedgehog formation or something, and they're like, okay, white has like a Moroxy bind. They're like, all right, go ahead, play with the white pieces, try to push, let's see what you do. But I stand right, I'm nice and solid, I have my pieces coordinated, so the moment you push, the position breaks open, I'm ready. If you don't push, maybe it's a draw, or maybe black gets in the d5 strike or the b5 or even the f5 strike against Moroxy with e4 c4 pawns against like a Sicilian. So black's ready too to strike, but often you could just sit there. Like some players like that. It's kind of seems lame, right? But they're just gonna sit there and be like, all right, well, they're waiting for you. They're egging you on. They're provoking you to overextend yourself. I mean, that's hyper modern chess too, but that's just really early. Then we have the middle game we talked about, and now we have a theoretically drawn end game where you could do the same thing. And as the player with black, you just got to keep trying different, kind of going from different angles, maneuvering, maybe cat and mouse, maybe repeat the position once, see what they do, gain some time on the clock. So it's a certain technique, and I've seen a lot of people win though with 4 against 3. Skilled players, they're in time pressure. It's a draw, but you put the burden on them. They have to find the correct moves, right? Cool. Nice job, guys. I'll see you. Enjoy your day off. I'll see you guys next week.
Very good exercise. Thanks.
Take
Thank
care.
you, David.
Thanks.
Do those. Maybe Malcolm, you guys can all do it. Just to make sure you got that down too, Malcolm. Maybe try it against like stockfish level, I don't know, 5 or something, and see if you can hold it without too much trouble and keep going. But level 8 will be tough. So at least do it like 5 or 6 or 7. Try it out. You should be able to hold it technically, so it'll improve your technique. Cool. All right, guys.
I'll definitely do that.
Thanks.
Take care.
See you guys. Take care.